Hi, 2033. This is Dr. Wilderman again. Today we are going to be talking about brevity in our media writing. So I once had a journalism professor back when I was in college tell the class to remember the ABCs of journalism or media writing, right? The ABCs. So A stood for accuracy, which we've already talked about in a previous video. B stands for brevity, which we're going to talk about right now. And brevity means just fewer words to convey our meaning, right? Using fewer words to convey our meaning. And then the C stands for clarity, right? So making something easy to understand and not contradictory. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a different video. But if you're asked what the ABCs are of journalism or media writing, that is accuracy, brevity, and clarity. Those three things go a long way in us having professional, tight, clean media writing that people can easily understand. All right, so back to the talk of brevity. Now, my experience in teaching college freshmen is that when you arrive here at college, you haven't usually been focusing on brief writing. A lot of the types of writing that you've done up till now, they may have focused on getting to a word count, like an English essay or research paper, maybe your entrance essays when you're applying for college. And you're like, they have to be 800 words, they have to be 400 words, they have to be 2000 words, whatever the word count is. Focusing on a word count can oftentimes lead us to lengthen and make our writing very fluffy and have filler words that we don't need. So we're going to try to break you of that habit in JMC 2033. Most media writing, even if it's a long project, most media writing is about the sentences being brief and conveyed as concisely as possible. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. And I am going to pull up some slides that will hopefully give you a little bit more advice on how to make your writing more brief. Okay, so one of the most important lessons for this is to understand the natural order of the English language, okay? And that is SVO. I want you to remember SVO. So SVO stands for subject, verb, object. And that means that is the order we want you to get your sentences in. Now, I think the Phylactery text refers to it as noun, verb, and object, same meaning, all right? But we more commonly referred to it as SVO in 2033, and I'm going to stick with that, okay? So again, SVO stands for subject, verb, object. This is the most straightforward and brief way to write a sentence. I'm going to show you here an example that does not follow SVO and then an example that does. All right, so the example that does not follow SVO. Increased student fees cause many students to question how the money is spent. All right, now the way we have this here, student fees is set up as the subject, and grammatically that's correct. I mean, we made it the subject, it's the subject. But getting to the heart of SVO means asking yourself, what is the sentence really about? Okay, what's the sentence? What's the action? All right, and so in this sentence, the action is really the students doing the questioning. Questioning the student fees is the action. Who's doing the questioning? Students. So get students and question up to the front of the sentence, and then you have your rhetorical subject, what this sentence is about. You have that up at the beginning, and then you have a true SVO sentence. So many students question the increasing student fees. Great. Students, subject, question, verb, fees, object. Students, question, fees. That's what this sentence really is about. When you look at these two sentences, you can see that the second one that follows that, the idea of what is this sentence about and get it up front, that sentence is shorter, more concise, more brief. That's what we want. All right. Moving on. Another thing to think about with brief, tight writing is the idea of understanding active versus passive voice. Now, I've taught 2033 for a long time. It is one of my main goals every semester to make sure that students understand finally the difference in active and passive voice. Many people who have a mastery of the English language still have a difficult time with active versus passive voice. So I'm going to really try, and the instructors of 2033 are really going to try to help you understand this. Now, learning the SVO order will help you stay in active voice, which is what we want for media writing. Active voice is going to lead to more clear, concise sentences. Then there's something I need you to get out of your head, okay? Passive has nothing to do with past tense, all right? So no matter what tense a sentence is in, present, future, past, whatever, it could be passive and we would still need to rewrite it. So passive and past tense are not the same thing. They're not synonyms. Past tense is not the problem. If something happened in the past, write the sentence in past tense. All right, so back to actually what is passive voice. Passive voice happens when you don't follow that SVO order and you're kind of mixing up what the sentence is about, not starting with what the sentence is about. So let's look at a passive sentence, all right? The necklace was given to me by my mother for my birthday. Okay, so whether you're thinking SVO or getting something in active voice, which remember those two things are related, what I want you to start with is find the verb, find the action that the sentence is really about, okay? So giving is the action in this sentence. Who's doing the giving? Not the necklace. The necklace doesn't give itself, so the necklace shouldn't be at the start of the sentence. The mother is giving. Start there. My mother gave me the necklace. Mother, subject, gave, verb, necklace, object. My mother gave me the necklace. Then additional information for my birthday, those things should follow after the SVO. They should be in phrases and clauses following the first part of the sentence. Again, you'll notice the sentence is a little bit shorter. I think we have 9 words instead of 12 words. That's active voice, where the subject is actively engaged in the verb, in the action. The necklace doesn't give itself. The mother gives the necklace. Okay, I hope that's helpful. All right, then just some general ways to tighten your writing, okay? We want you to avoid cliches. So cliches are those phrases, overused, overdone phrases. They've been around for a long time. I think of them as things that like my grandmother really used to love to say. Christmas came early this year. Cute as a button, things like that. They're funny. There's nothing wrong with them in our conversation by any means, but they're just overdone. They're not our own writing. They're not creative. Maybe they were creative when the first person who ever said it. They're not creative and they just clutter up our own work. So get rid of cliches and come up with your own wording. All right. Then we want you to remove redundancies. There's so many words in the English language. And because of that, we often use 2, 3, 4, 5 words when one word will do. So we want you to look for places where you can get rid of a word or part of a phrase, and the sentence still has the same meaning, right? So if you see the phrase really unique, right? Really unique. Unique can stand on its own. You don't need the really. If I have the sentence, she is really unique versus she is unique, unique is that's one word shorter, and unique stands on its own as a strong word. Same thing with free gift. If you're paying for an item, it's not a gift. Free gift is redundant. Get rid of the word free, just use the word gift. Same thing, perfectly clear. Something is either clear or it isn't. We don't need that modifier of perfectly. It doesn't really make the word clear any stronger. All right. So aside from removing redundancies and avoiding cliches, we want you to get rid of filler words. Words like a lot, phrases like more and more. Okay, they don't add anything to your writing. A lot of times they're just used to boost word count or to try to emphasize something when really just stronger word choices would be better to emphasize. So if you're seeing things like a lot, a little, the best, the worst, the most, more and more, get rid of these things in your writing, and it's going to tighten it up and make it easier, and it's going to sound more professional. All right. Another thing that needs a little bit of explanation. We want you to stop relying so much on the forms of to be as your subject. The phylic text calls these empty subjects. All right. I think this is one where it's just easier to see the example than me try to explain it all. So look at that first sentence there. There were 3 girls walking outside. All right. So if you remember the forms of to be, right, that's like I am, we were, she is. So am, is, were, are. I want you to look for those words in your writing. See if you're using them as a main verb in the sentence, not as a helping verb. They're fine used as helping verbs. But what I'm saying is right here in this sentence, there were, we're using there were as the subject, when this sentence is clearly about the 3 girls. So use 3 girls up front as the subject. 3 girls walked outside. Or if you needed to change the tense, 3 girls were walking outside. That's fine. Just get that true subject, in this case, the girls, get the true subject up at the front and get rid of the empty subject, there were. All right, so again, look for am, is, were, was, right? Look for these words in your writing. You don't have to eliminate them totally. Just see if you're using them as the main verb, because usually you can get a stronger verb in there and tighten up that sentence. All right. Then we want you to try to cut back on using so many prepositions. Those of us who speak and write the English language, we love to use prepositions, but we use them too much. In class, you're going to do an exercise called the writer's diet. That one is really going to help you out with understanding how to get rid of too many prepositions. Prepositions serve their place, but we don't always need to use them as much as we do. All right, and then finally, all of these issues right here and many more are addressed in your working with words text. So if you see www anytime on Canvas, in your schedule for this class, www refers to the text working with words. There's a section in here, a lovely fun section called What to Tighten A through Z. In the most current edition, it starts on page 287. What to Tighten addresses all these issues, right? It's going to help you make your writing brief and clear. And even better, it's in alphabetical order. It's really easy to follow. So if I'm turning to the D's. I look down and I start to see things right away that they're telling us either get rid of because they're cliche, cut it out, cut it down, right? So I'm looking at the phrase dried up, right? Instead of saying that something is dried up, you can just say it's dried. Get rid of up. Same thing with like step up, hop up. The up is not usually necessary, all right? Sometimes it could be, so read the sentence with it and without it and decide, but I'm going to hop onto something. I don't really need to say I'm going to hop up onto something. All right. I chose to go into the D's because one of my favorite things to edit down is the phrase due to the fact that. Due to the fact that is just a really wordy way to say because. All right. So there's lots of gems in here, several pages, all in alphabetical order about common ways that we fluff up our writing and how we can then tighten it back down. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to that section and working with words, and that will really help you on your editing assignment that is coming up. All right, and that's it for our conversation on brevity, and I will see you in another lecture. Bye-bye.